It's been an interesting 24 hours for Penn State fans. I interact a lot with them here on YouTube with the YouTube channels I run and here at the College Huddle. And after watching the game, calling the game actually live yesterday, and then watching the game, and then going back and kind of reviewing the game, I felt it was necessary to take the time to go read comments on social media from the Penn State fan base. Now, there are two very distinct groups currently when it comes to Penn State fans. There are the James Franklin defenders, and there are the James Franklin, let's just call them fed up with James Franklin, over James Franklin, don't like James Franklin, not the defenders. Right? That's the separation we're going to make here. The James Franklin defenders and the non-James Franklin defenders. And the non-James Franklin defenders, that group has grown immensely in the past 2 seasons. And now they're getting very, very vocal as well. So here's what I discovered. James Franklin has got a new nickname amongst the non-James Franklin defenders. It's Big Game James. Big Game James is what they call him. Some have been calling him that for a while. I've gathered that. I've heard it before. But now that nickname has taken hold. And it is overpowering the James Franklin defenders online. To the point that after last night's game, there's a serious concern amongst non-Penn State fans, just college football people in general, who are looking at what's going on in Happy Valley currently. There's a concern that people are a little bit worried James might lose the locker room here. He's losing the fan base quickly. And if he loses the locker room, this thing in Happy Valley, which had so much promise going into the season, it might go off the rails here this season. And that's the concern from people, especially people who thought James Franklin had a very good chance of doing something very, very special in Happy Valley this season. Keep in mind, one of the reasons why Penn State went into this season with so high expectations is they had the same roster feel and blueprint to what was previously accomplished by their Big Ten brethren on the national level from Michigan and Ohio State in 2023 and 2024. Senior laden, experienced roster, players who could have went to the NFL, came back for their senior season, and now there was this really high expectation. These guys are really good. They should be really good, and there's a very good chance that they are going to be head and shoulders better than the rest of the conference and maybe college football and get to where they almost got a year ago when they made the semifinals but lost to Notre Dame, and that's get to a national championship game. Now, is all of that still possible? The answer to that question is absolutely, unequivocally, 100% yes. Ohio State lost early in the season on the road to those same Oregon Ducks. They also lost at home in the regular season finale against rival Michigan, and then went on to win 4 consecutive college football playoff games to win the national championship. Is all of that still possible for Penn State? Of course. But their margin for error just got worse. And even beyond that, the confidence that people have that they will do that is very, very low. Very low. So James Franklin now is 4-21 at Penn State against AP top 10 teams. Easy enough for me to say. He's 4-26 overall in his career, 0-5 before he ever got to Penn State. But 4-21 since being at Penn State. And that percentage is just not good enough if you're Penn State. It's just not. Penn State is a power program. I hesitate to call them a blue blood, but they are definitely one of the power programs in the North. One of the big three in the Big Ten, alongside Michigan and Ohio State, before Oregon and USC showed up from the West Coast. And James Franklin, during his tenure in Happy Valley, has failed to reach that level or that standard that this fan base expects their program to be at, and that is to compete consistently at that top level against the Michigans and the Ohio States and now the Oregons of the conference. And they're just not doing that with James Franklin. They're just not. That's how he's earned the nickname Big Game James. Now, there was cracks in that foundation years ago. And the fan base, certain individuals in the fan base had grown upset about it, fed up about it, and was making their voices heard on social media and sometimes even in person. I go back to that game, I think it was Ohio State a year ago, and Ohio State went into Happy Valley and came from behind and beat them, and there was the fan as the team was walking off the field, as James was walking off the field, and he was giving James the what if, and James decided that he'd had enough and he was going to start yelling back at the fan. And it was pretty ugly. That wasn't the first time he had interacted with a fan in the stands instead of ignoring them. And that type of attitude, which was shunned by the majority of the fan base, is no longer being shunned. It is permeating throughout the fan base, especially online. If we were to poll Penn State fans, I'm thinking maybe, possibly, for the first time since James Franklin has been there in Happy Valley, that threshold of should James Franklin coach beyond this season might be up to 50%. It's getting close. And when you lose the majority of your fan base's support in that manner, it's only a matter of time before that hot seat is completely on fire and it forces the administration and the athletic department to do something. Going into the season, mind you, the attitude I had and others around me in my college football circle was, given all the advantages that James Franklin was given with this roster, with the handpicked coaching staff he had, plucking Jim Knowles from Ohio State and putting him in the same position as defensive coordinator or head coach of the defense there at Penn State, that those expectations had even gotten higher than they were. And I had made the statement going into the season, if not this year for James at Penn State, then when would it ever happen for him? And I'm now hearing those same statements being said by Penn State people. If he can't make it happen with this year, with this team, with this staff, how can we ever expect it to happen for him? Again, let me circle back. It's still possible for James in Penn State, but there is a growing number of people inside that fan base and outside that fan base who have lost complete confidence in James when it comes to winning big games. And if you're going to win a national championship, you have to win not one, but multiple big games. And when you have the nickname Big Game James, it's not going to go well for you. Now, let's go to the other side of the argument. The James Franklin supporters. That number is getting smaller. They're not nearly as visible or verbal online as they used to be. They're still there, but they're growing quieter because their numbers are dwindling. Now, what can James do to get the fan base back on his side and to grow those numbers back into his supporters with the fan base? He's going to have to go into Columbus, Ohio and beat Ohio State. He's going to have to do that. And can he do that? It is possible. I'm not sitting here and saying that it's impossible. But there's a saying I've had with James for a long time, and it's this. At some point during the season, James Franklin is gonna James Franklin, meaning Big Game James is gonna show up. If he shows up again in Columbus, Ohio, and the Buckeyes, who will be ranked higher than Penn State, probably, more than likely, unless they slip up themselves somewhere on this path to get to that early November showdown, then Ohio State's going to be ranked much higher than Penn State. And Penn State, if they're going to want to get back to the Big Ten championship game, they will have to win that football game. If they don't, then Penn State and James Franklin will fall to 2 losses on the season. And if they lose another one at any point, maybe when Indiana comes to town, they're going to be on the outside of the college football playoff looking in. And they were the team that many experts picked to be the team to beat in 2025 in college football. And that's a sobering thought to think of if you're a Nittany Lion fan. So, at this point, one must ask the question, if James doesn't do it now, when will he ever in Happy Valley? Let me know what you think about what I think down in the comment section below. If you're a Penn State fan, give me your thoughts. Are you a James Franklin supporter? If so, why? I would love to know what you think. If you are on the side that says it's time to get rid of James, let me know down in the comment section below. Would love to know who you would like to see him be replaced by, possibly, if indeed you're ready to move on from James Franklin in Happy Valley. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully I've earned your trust and ability to earn your subscription here at the College Huddle. We are a community of 86 independent podcasters covering our favorite teams from coast to coast, and this is the mothership here at the College Huddle on this channel for all 86 podcasters, all 86 podcasts, I should say, from coast to coast, including Penn State with the Nittany Blues podcast. So let me know what you think. Please consider being a part of our community, and we will be back with another video very soon.